All right. So, yep, deck tech, everybody. Hope you all enjoyed the last one, and just want to run another quick league with a little bit of an update to the last um what do you call it? Yeah, to the last version that I was playing because um I know that the four Blood Moons and the four Geomancer's Gambits, there was definitely something to be said about that. But the more and more I think about it, the more and more I think, I think Blood Sun kind of just covers most of the same bases that the Geomancer's Gambit would, namely like the Omnath matchup, for example, that we were able to win in large part because of the moons and the Geomancers. So hear me out. Blood Sun, unlike Blood Moon, is not going to just steal the game by itself. But what it does do is it always draws a card. So against decks like Omnath, which is kind of one of the main things that we could use a little extra help against. I don't think Omnath is like a terrible matchup, but I do think especially if the opponent knows what they're doing, they are slightly favored, and that slight being favored, I think, kind of ends up in them. If we're playing against a very top player, I think could actually end up being more of a problem than it might seem at first glance. And please excuse the bird. Um, but yeah, but at the end of the day, Blood Sun will just really help against that matchup, and I think a lot of other matchups where the I think the bird just wants some love. Uh, yeah, a lot of other matchups where, like, think about it. Your creativity is another big one. Because think about it. It really neuters Ren and Six um the because the fetch lands, they can't crack them anymore, so immediately they don't get value off of the fetch lands. What's wrong, baby? Um, you know, and also it neuters Omnath because they also can't crack it for extra value from the Omnath as well. In any case, and that's the main thing is by basically cutting the Blood Moons and the Geomancers to kind of combine them in one card in Blood Sun. And needless to say, against creativity, this also makes it so that they can't crack their fetch lands to get their tokens, their Dwarven tokens. It just frees up slots to be able to play Pirate Spellbomb again. And Pirate Spellbomb, okay, this seems like a very underpowered card, and I think this is a very common card that ends up getting cut when other players pick up the deck. Here's the thing, though, that I like about Pirate Spellbomb. I get that this is not a very flashy card, but it helps a lot against a lot of matchups, even though it doesn't necessarily swing them all super terribly. Um, so what this does is it can deal with the pro red creatures. It can and yeah, it basically serves two purposes. It can deal with the pro red creatures in some matchups, and for example, we don't really have anything else against burn, so Pirate Spellbomb is a great asset against burn because we're really just kind of hoping to sort of juke them with Ragavan and actually get some good Seasoned Pyromancer starts. They are fundamentally favored, but ironically, burn siding into pro red creatures could end up working against them when we bring in Pirate Spellbomb because it's one of the few cards that doesn't either have haste or guarantee or more or less guarantee them 2 damage like what do you call it, Eidolon. Technically, we can evoke a Fury, and that's one of the most common ways we can deal with Eidolon without taking 2 damage. But other than evoking Fury, pretty much have to take 2 damage to deal with Eidolon. And Pirate Spellbomb, incidentally, also actually helps against Eidolon because we can play it and then crack it later without having to actually cast a spell. But it also deals with the pro red creatures, which, like I said, they're one of the few types of cards that they don't have haste and they don't immediately deal damage, and they don't basically more or less guarantee damage, which means that this almost functions like a life gain spell of sorts because they had to take a card and a turn to ultimately not do any damage. And as long as they do that enough times, the matchup flips to being more favorable to us, basically. Which is, so basically, the slower the burn deck, the more it's going to advantage us. But in any case, other than that, it's pretty much the same as last time. I absolutely love Unholy Heat. There's a little bit of a Nombo with Relic, but I found that it in no way mitigates against playing it. Other than that, I mean, yeah, it just kind of sucks. We don't have a lot of answers to like mill and burn at this point. I was trying a version with like Elixir of Immortality, But at the end of the day, Elixir of Immortality doesn't really work against burn because, unless you actually also have Pirate Spellbomb, the problem is you bring in the elixirs, they bring in the pro-red creatures, you gain 5 life, but then they just deal way more damage from the pro-red creatures if you don't have Pirate Spellbomb. And there's no way I have enough room to play Pyrite and Elixir, so, it is what it is. And I guess without further ado, let's get to the game. Okay, match 1, game 1. This one is going to be the only one that's not live commentated because I kind of realized that I really like this build. I think so. I probably want to feature it. So I decided to record the rest of these, which means that this one's going to be the only post league. So they seem to be playing some kind of Gleeful Demolition type deck, but thankfully we can clear this all out and then get a hit in with Ragavan. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what this is, but we get to play. We've missed Experimental Synthesizer, so that made me chuckle a little bit inside because it has been a while, my old friend. Experimental Synthesizer. It's not that I dislike you. It's just that in our deck at least, what do you call it? Mishra Research Desk is just kind of better. So they seem to be playing a sort of land destruction deck. Thankfully, we do have plenty of draw cards and plenty of lands. For that reason, we're going to play out the Flame Slash, and we're going to probably cycle a Relic in a turn because we're probably heavily incentivized to play the Spikefield as a land, considering that they are a land kind of destruction deck. Although we seem to be drawing so many lands, I don't think we have too much of an issue. So I thought about holding it up for a second for a dashing Ragavan, but we can live. So I'm probably gonna correct the Relic again, but I'm thinking about it. I might not. Yeah, I decided not to. Yeah. Let's play the Synthesizer, and we get to play that for value. Flame Slash there, Dragon Rage. And I feel like we're in a pretty good spot. We still have Obosh chilling in the Companion Zone, which is also always nice. It's just so nice to have not just a companion, but a companion that is pretty darn good. So okay, what we decide to do is we're just gonna crank the clock up, and we're just going to Fury that thing. At the end of the day, what we just don't want to have happen is we don't want them to play Boom Bust for the alternate one and bust everything because they would still survive with 5 lands. We want to set ourselves up so if they bust, we still have a commanding enough board presence that we can win after that. So that's why we did that. There was a logic behind it, and I think this was a concession, maybe a little bit of an early concession, but a concession nonetheless. Regretting not playing Lightning Bolt before because I think I miscounted the mana, but at the end of the day, yeah. All right, match 1, game 2, and yeah, this is a keepable hand. This isn't our first choice, but we do have a removal spell for Ragavan, and they do have a Ragavan. And we have a lot of lands for the Boomin and the Bustin, because, as a certain somebody said, with the Boomin and the Bustin, they get brain damage. And, the less said about the person who said that, the better. But, yeah, we don't want to get brain damage from all the Boomin and the Bustin. And sure enough, there's some Boomin and the Bustin. We're going to hit that in response. And hopefully, yeah. All right, so hopefully no more Boomin and the Bustin. Alrighty. All right, so let's crack this. See, yeah, I thought about getting the Shattering Spree, but at the end of the day, the Mishra's Research Desk is also card advantage. So we'll play this. I guess we'll crack it because just never know what we get. And yeah, and now we want to play this because this deprives them of both Seasoned Pyromancer at the top, which we couldn't have counted on that being the card they exiled, but also it also makes it so they can't get the Samurai token. So. Yep. So they seem to be going for a burn plan. I actually kind of approve of that because, that's probably their most likely way to win at this point. And I'm just desperately searching for another red source, which I do find, so I'll take it. They put me in a situation though where Field of Ruining feels really bad because yeah, it sort of color fixes us, but it not only doesn't color fix them, but it also mana ramps them, which is not fun. Just not fun. So thankfully, Fury is an excellent choice here. So I think we'll play this, play out the Den. Yeah, they can end a turn Lightning Bolt and then start and then start cracking in with the with Ragavan, but that's a risk I think I am willing to take. So is there some more booming and some busting? Um, yeah, I'll just play yeah, that exactly, yeah. Play this Obosh, pitch this Spikefield and the Obosh. Okay, that's interesting. Oh yeah, I think my theory is this has the best chance of converting into a clean kill next turn. So that is in fact what I do. Unfortunately, I can't tap my mana in the best possible way. So even if they kill the Fury, okay, well this is what it is. Yeah, bring them down to 1. Unfortunately, because of our red mana situation. All right, but they're not gonna lie, there was a worry that they like triple Galvanic Blast or like double Galvanic Blast. You know what do you call it? Or double Lightning Bolt Galvanic Blast or double Galv Blast. Shrapnel Blast or something. You know, there's enough firepower in their deck that we were a little worried about getting burned out. But thankfully, it did not come to pass. So, all right, hope you all, and GG's to the opponent. Yeah, hope you all enjoyed. Take care. Okay, match 2. We're up against Kurisu, who is probably playing some kind of Kiki chord variant. But yeah, this doesn't change. I think the fundamentals of us keeping this hand would have been nice if we had a Ragavan, but we didn't really have a turn 3 thing to power into anyway. And you know, it's an interesting thing. It's entirely possible that I am not mulliganing correctly. I'm not mulliganing correctly in my own deck. See, one of the things about when you kind of pioneer sort of your sort of like a new archetype in a way is that I guess in a way I sort of am the authority on when to mulligan and when not to, but it's entirely possible that there's something I could be missing. And I feel like, and I encourage all of you to experiment because, you know, it's easy for us to fall into this trap of thinking, oh, this and this person is the authority on whatever deck, Murktide, you know, or Obosh or whatever. But like at the end of the day, the only way somebody can really become an authority is if they try a lot of different strategies and they basically determine that this one is the best. And I'm not 100% sure that I've really practiced, for example, trying to force Ragavan. And no, like for example, I don't think forcing Ragavan in my opening hand is the right way to go. But maybe forcing early aggression, if not Ragavan, at least like a Seasoned Pyro or something. It's possible. Let's see here. See, so I have a decision to make. I think I'm gonna just play out Field of Ruin here, and I think the reason why is that the only thing I cut myself off of for not playing Spikefield is Seasoned Pyro, but I'm not so sure I'd want to play Seasoned Pyro anyway next turn because ironically, Spikefield is one of the few good pitches. Yeah, plus Spikefield is a good pitch for Ren, and I wanted to keep up for Ragavan. Yeah. All right, this might seem a little bit aggro, but you know, let's go. Hopefully I don't have another Ren. I think I'm just going to go ahead and do this now. I don't think there's too much they can do with 1 mana on my turn, and I would hate to like let them untap with something that could affect me, like a Dashing Raga or something. Plus I could mana screw them. Well, it seems unlikely to mana screw them, but they technically don't have a red at the moment. Okay, well there's the red. Okay. I guess this is Obosh to hand time, isn't it? I guess I'll play this. Alrighty. But yeah, I could try to force more aggression, but I haven't really experimented with that to be honest, because the way I see it, and I could totally be wrong, but the way I see it is that is that one of the entire advantages to playing a mid-range type strategy. This almost certainly in my experience means they have another Omnath because they are well aware that I have plenty of answers, and you know, they probably have another one. But that being said, we obviously still have a very good answer, so we might as well play it. Plus, next turn, in theory, we could play Obosh into Lightning Bolt, but we leave ourselves open to a Solitude. Oh, maybe they don't have another Omnath. You'd think they would have played it first. Okay. Well, I can do the Obosh trick, and they. So here's the cool thing. They kind of have to play the Solitude now, and in response, I could Lightning Bolt, but the problem is my Lightning Bolt isn't going to kill it. Oh, maybe they don't. Yeah, I think I'd like my Fury to live. So interesting. I thought for sure they'd have a Solitude. So that's very unusual that we can just sort of deal with Elish Norn so relatively easily. Well, they kind of have to have Solitude now, don't they? Normally I'd play Seasoned Pyromancer, but since we are technically threatening lethal, but I have to imagine they drew into a Solitude. But you know, forcing them to have to play Solitude through its alternate cost. At least I think. What else could they be? What other removal spell could they have access to? Ah, okay, well, that's fine because that's basically a chump block, I think, at this point. I mean, it's a very necessary chump block, but yeah, because of the damage doubling. I mean, it's not usual that I can kind of put myself in this position, and I'm not necessarily by any means expecting that it's going to stay this way, because after all, for example, Hardcast Solitude is an option. Hardcast Solitude is still on the table if they play a fetch land, which, oh well, hey, I will take it. But yeah, I was just going to say, forcing aggression could be something I haven't really, you know, experimented with. But as you can see, there's a lot of matchups where it just doesn't really matter that much if we force aggression, because one of the advantages to playing mid-range is that we can kind of play Rock'em Sock'em robots, and like if we're playing another deck like Omnath or something, which just kind of trades resources early on, then it ultimately just comes down to who has more resources in the end. And ironically, mulliganing there for aggression will just actually hurt me in the long run. But in any case, there are some other matchups that we really need aggression, particularly control, combo, whatever. Okay, if you all were wondering what the Blood Suns were in here for, hopefully we'll get to see, because this is definitely where the Blood Suns shine. I have a little bit of a tough decision to make though, but believe it or not, I think what I've settled on is actually take out the relics. Yeah, it might seem strange because the relics are good against Ren and 6, but at the end of the day, the Ragavans, it's possible to say, the Ragavans, they just, that's one way I can sort of steal wins is Ragavan. But the other thing too is also that while Relic is sweet and all, this is a matchup where we really want Delirium because we got to be able to get that Elish Norn off the table. So yeah, so let me see here. So not gonna lie, I'm a little bit worried about a Chalice. I guess I'll play this. I was very close to playing Spikefield. I don't think I lose since I don't have like Stomp in the deck. I don't think I lose that much by not playing on Spikefield. Yeah, and if they play Ren, I think I just Fury. So yeah. Plus, I would draw another Den. The ideal second land to play would be Ren. I mean, okay, so that's a Ren. I mean, Den or Ren. So I've got two choices. I think I'm just gonna pitch a Fury. It's the most, but I could have played Lightning Bolt and then Spikefield. Hmm. I could still, yeah. I'm gonna play Fury, pitching Spikefield. One of the things about Fury, it's a very good card, but they have almost infinite answers to it, except for last game, apparently. Um, and it does get shut off by Elish Norn. Okay, I actually kind of like this because this this means that I have very good I'm getting very good vibes about my, and I will take care of this because this does kind of have to leave the battlefield at some point. Although Blood Sun severely diminishes how. Now hopefully they just are F6ing. Nope. All right. The thing I like about Blood Sun here is that no matter what happens now, we draw a card. I thought I F6, but and that to me is kind of a big deal. Because notice how they could have just got a plains, which they had in their hand anyway. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll put Obosh to hand. This is where Obosh is very, 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 very nice. But yeah, one of the things I like about Blood Sun is that is that they could deal with it pretty easily, but at least I still drew a card. And I know I'm kind of letting them play their lands on tap without taking damage, but the way this severely powers down their stuff, they're just signaling a Solitude way too hard here. So as much as I would love to play Obosh, I'm just not going to do it because it's just going to instantly get eaten up by a Solitude. I mean, this is like not a good use of mana, but here's what it is. Ice Fang. Okay. But this actually isn't too bad because we can Field a Ruin, which I guess I will. We could leave the Blast Zone on 0 in case they play Chalice, actually, but I think I'm going to take it up. Alrighty. Now see, like they could have Leyline Binding even with a Blood Moon in play. They would have had to pay more mana for it, but they still could have done it. Okay, I like that play. We're going to try to put this to 6 because getting back Blood Sun is a pretty big game. And I think I'm just going to keep. You know what? But they have the Ice Fang Coatl. But at the same time, I can possibly tag Teferi. But losing my den to the Coatl is not something I'm particularly interested in. My hope is at some point I can kind of clean up the Teferi and the Coatl with the Fury, maybe even next turn. But in the meantime, I think I'm going to try to put Blast Zone up to 6 as slowly as possible. Okay, let's see if creature instant sorcery creature land. Okay, so unfortunately I can't play stuff at instant speed. So if they have Ephemerate, we're in particular trouble here. Otherwise, we'd have a pretty easy respond with Lightning Bolt. We do unfortunately have to just try to get rid of this thing. It's kind of too, really not good to let this thing stick around. I guess we might just have to. Okay, good. I almost had my finger on the concede button, so to speak. Yeah, I think I'm gonna wait, put this thing to 4, and then maybe play Fury next turn. And hopefully I don't have another Elish Norn. But that's, if you all have also wondered why I've started playing Unholy Heat, that is one big reason. I experimented with a bunch of other cards, like Demon Bolt was one, interestingly enough. But the thing is, it kept coming back to this question. Like, there's kind of the OG sort of deal a bunch of damage for 1 mana sort of card, and yeah, well maybe that's, just play it. Believe it or not, I might not actually use Fury on Omnath. I still think I'm going for 6. I could try to play Obosh and divide the damage, but that's way too risky. Yeah, that's way too risky. All right, I think I'm gonna hit Teferi and Ice Fang because Omnath is value, but yeah, so is Teferi. Yeah, this could be a mistake, but also I can't Flame Slash at Teferi. I can Flame Slash at Omnath if I draw one, and I've only drawn one Flame Slash so far. We'll see. Alrighty. That was probably the most frustrating card they could have played. Let's see here. I don't like me getting them low. I don't like them getting me low. Okay, this was about the perfect card I think I could have drawn. Because I need something to just gum up the board a bit. There we go. Okay. Alrighty. Let's hit this thing. I hope they don't have Spell Pierce. They don't have Teferi that at least that I can see. So I'm actually gonna bolt the Fury on their upkeep. And the reason is because I don't want Fury also attacking me if they have Ephemerate. Okay. Now I'm kind of expecting another Fury, but it is what it is. I don't think I'm going to take the bait. I think I'm just going to block with a token. I mean, I could have tried to combine block with 5 cards in their hand. It just seems a little too risky to me. All right, well, let's go. Winning on the clock is always a possibility with Omnath too, and I know that seems kind of underhanded, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Yeah, at the end of the day, if we win this, it's going to be that we full ahead in card advantage and then we go to work. So I'm not gonna go aggro here. All right. An argument could have been made that we should have just played the Seasoned Pyro, but since I can get value by cranking up the Blast Zone anyway, I can even crack it on 4 if I really want to, but I still kind of want to go for 5. Cracking on a 4 though against Omnath is actually also not bad. In fact, I might actually do that. Yeah, you know what? I'll bite the bullet. Yeah. While I was looking forward to that Blood Sun, I think that probably, well, whatever. At least I saved myself 4 life, or have another chump blocker. Eventually, they will run out of Omnaths. That. Believe it or not, that is Alright, I think I'll get rid of the white because, honestly, the only thing I'm really that worried about is Ephemerate. Although maybe Counterspell, but this doesn't look like a version that plays Counterspell. And Ephemerate just seems like hell on wheels. Alright, I normally don't do this, but I'm going to play out the Ragavan. Just because it is kind of a better blocker against Solitude. Okay, good, thank you, no Counterspell. Alright, well, let's go for it. Should I attack now? No, because I don't want to I want to still have a blocker if they Fury me. Yeah, so it turned out that it was a pretty efficient use of my mana. Once we start, hopefully chaining our whatever you call those into each other, our Mishra's research desks into each other, we might be able to. Alright, well, I am going to attack with Ragavan. Do I really want to do that? No, and I'll tell you why, because as juicy as it is, endurance, it just kind of obliterates me here. But yeah, Mishra's research desk, and hopefully I can start actually pulling ahead in the card advantage game. I know it's kind of a big if. We did deal with at least one of their Elish Norns, and they may have 2. This may be the second one. But this could just be another Omnath, but the good news is Blood Sun severely sort of neuters Omnath, so that's always nice. Kurisu, I think, one of the more perennial. Yep, and there's the Fury that we were always playing around. One of the perennial, usually Kiki Chord, but I think Value is sort of the name of their game. Alrighty. Well, we have perfect flashback mana at least. Alrighty. Alright, this is the cool thing about Blood Sun, is it's never completely dead. Good Dasharaga. Yeah, but why Dasharaga? So, maybe I should have played the land, but I at this point, I kind of want to save something for pitching with Fable. I really need to draw those Mishra's Research Deaths. They're like all on the bottom of my deck or something. Those really help to power through my deck. Let's just elementalize this. Alrighty. Seven cards in their hand. Alright, well please no Ephemerate. That'd be kind of hell on wheels here. Alright, well, believe it or not, I'm still not attacking. I'm kind of worried that they're still going to ambush me with that endurance. The longer we can stall the game, even if they win this one, which I would certainly not be surprised if they do, the longer we can stall this game, the more we have the option to win on time available to us. So that is something to consider. Not my first choice here. I'll tank it, but there's an argument I should have just got to chump in while I could. Man, I need to actually draw. There we go. Well, that's a start to something. Please no counterspell. Okay, good. And there's the Fable and the Research Deaths that we were all yammering about. I'm worried about a Fury, but we can't live in fear, can we? So an argument against popping Research Desk. Now, realistically, they could always play that Endurance, no matter when. Oh, all right. There's all the Fables. Now we need to find all the Research Desks. Alrighty. Hopefully they've got like a ton of fetches in their hand or something. Alright, well there's a Blood Sun. At this point I might as well just discard it. Let's just do this first. Is this going to bait out the Endurance? Nope. Maybe we were playing around an Endurance they didn't have. I think Unholy Heat's pretty good, if you ask me. Alright. Well, okay, I know this normally goes against my principles, but getting a token is pretty nice. And we do have the Unholy Heat to smack a Endurance if they have it. I mean, considering we do kind of get awarded for attacking. Okay. Yeah, we don't have to play this Unholy Heat just yet. Next turn. I might just hold this and not play it on their upkeep. You just never know if they play like an Elish Norn or something. Or an Omnath. And I think this would be a more ideal way to respond, I think. An instant sorcery, creature, land, enchantment. Okay. Are we actually doing it? Are we actually outgrinding the grind? Let's see. What is that? Tap their man wrong. Okay, well, where was that all game? That's kind of like our Research Desks. Just never showed. Now, I'm kind of expecting a Fury here, because, you know, I can't crack that. Oh, no Fury. Alright, well, let's see. Let's see what we can do here. Alright, I think I'm going to just pitch the Research Desk. We're also running kind of low on cards. We could deck ourselves. Oh, man. That is an interesting one, I tell you what. Oh, that's another interesting one. So we're kind of running low on the old Carteroonies. You want to stay ahead on the clock, but our opponent is playing pretty fast, which is making it kind of difficult to do that. Man, hopefully we can untap with Seasoned Pyromancer, but... And believe it or not, we're decking first, the way this is. Okay, I think I still have another land, yep. I wonder if it would have worked to our advantage to let them fetch. Maybe actually make their library more thinned out than us. Please no Solitude. Yeah. Well. Yeah, I was going to say attack with the... Okay, this is where I think I do chump block. Okay. I think if we can force a chump block with the Risen Reef, I think we're going to be happy campers. Okay, fair enough. Well, at least that's the lightning bolt not directed at our face, if you know what I mean. Normally, I wouldn't believe in playing this out, but I think I tapped my lands improperly. Please no fury. Please no fury. Ooh, 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 ooh. Okay, I can live with that. Interesting. I'm going to play another land, though. Let's use it. Interesting. Interesting. You may want to deal with the Kiki, so that might be why they did that. But they could make themselves in danger of decking before me, though. I'm going to Risen this Reef. See if they Solitude in response. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, at the end of the day, I think I'm kind of just stalling. Because we're kind of just looking to game 3 already. Alrighty. Here comes the Tude. There's the Tude. Alright, well, let's try to copy in response. See if that does anything. Okay, I guess it did. Okay. Kind of need a little more value here. I want more value. Maybe another Fury would be nice. Hey, asking me shall receive, right? Oh boy. I think I need to hit that Risen Reef. It's just too much value. I probably should have attacked the Teferi, now that I think about it. Realistically, we're going to deck. Kind of no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Oh my god, I'm going to have Sanctifier. I was not expecting that one. I would just play an actual core Firewalker if I were them. And what does this do against black? But against like red, you know, with burn specifically. I'm a little surprised to see Sanctifier, but what's it called? Core Firewalker would make sense. I guess this also messes with our Unholy Heat, but all right. Yep. Yeah, we're definitely decking. They kind of just went nuts with the card advantage, and somehow we did too, but they ended up with more. They ended up somehow with both more value and with fewer cards in their library. So it is what it is, and at this point, I think I'm just running out the clock. Alrighty. I have to imagine a good chunk of these 7 cards in their hand are lands, but you know, it could just be wishful thinking. But I mean, they play so few lands compared to us. Alrighty, so we are pulling ahead on the clock even more, thankfully. And at the end of the day, there's a decent chance we could lose on the clock. So this isn't only cheese. This is also defending us against cheese. All right, well, we're definitely decking at this point, but we're just embracing the deck. Alrighty. And these later in the game are not as good as earlier in the game. That other research dust's just going to kill me, so forget about that. Alrighty. Yep. Our mission is to lose by decking instead of their damage. It just feels a little more honorable. Alrighty. They have one more turn to kill us by their damage after this one. Well, there's an incredibly late Fury. Might as well cast it because there's literally no other time where we can. Alrighty, we can Spikefield a Quaddle. Alrighty. I don't know why they're just wasting time for their clock and not just F6ing. Maybe they want to double bolt us. Alrighty. And GG's. Well, not GG's, GG. Well, I guess game 1 is a GG too. The question is, how many of those Sanctifiers do they have? Do they have enough that we want to play Pirate Spellbomb? I don't think so, and I think and I could be wrong, but I think we really do want to get a turn 3 fast start possibly. But it's just we didn't pull as ahead. Oh, this could be risky, but we'll do it. I don't know why we did it. We're probably going to lose. I saw Ragavan, and I think I got a little too excited. They're going to Prismatic Ending for sure. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. How much money do you want to bet? 50? Yeah, you owe me $50. Alright. Alright, let's see here. Oh, that's a good start at least. Alrighty. Our third land drop. Maybe we're in business. Alright, maybe we're in business. Yeah, I'll play the Bloodstone. The sooner we play it, the better. Alrighty. Alrighty. We are, and being ahead even just 30 seconds on the clock is pretty huge in this matchup. Oh, and starting off even 1. Yeah, it's pretty huge. Let's do this. Hopefully they have to evoke a Solitude. What do we get? What do we get? Well, we can't cast it, but depriving them of this is still pretty good. We could have played Seasoned Pyromancer too, but I got too greedy here. Alrighty. Alrighty. Yeah. Next turn we could pitch the Ragavan and the Lightning Bolt. Or we could Flame Slash Ragavan. Oh. Let's see here. You know what? I think I'm going to Ragavan the Teferi. I think I'm going to Ragavan them. Okay, Lightning Bolt, always a perennial good card to have. You know what? I think I'll play this. While Fable is a nice card, I think, yeah, yeah. That could have been a mistake, but Fable's just too easy of a snipe with Teferi. Yeah, that's a good snipe, but not as good as the Fable token. That's looks like an Omnath if I've ever seen one. Oh, or a Risen Reef if I've ever seen one. So this looks kind of like a Teferi Risen Reef spread. Now I'm a little bit worried about Ephemerate, but they never showed that before. Okay. So we're doing pretty okay on life, and we're doing pretty okay on the board, and we're doing pretty okay on time. But they're doing pretty okay on Omnath, though. And that Omnath is such a nuts card that being okay on Omnath alone might still balance it out. It's like we're winning on board, we're winning on life, we're winning on the clock. We're not winning in hand, but the board somewhat, but makes up for that. But they are winning they are winning on the Omnath battle, though. They have more Omnaths than us. That's that we cannot deny. They have one more Omnath than we do, and that's a little bit of a problem for us. Oh, what is this? Fury. Yeah, I approve. I approve. It's not the best use of card advantage, and Elish Norn was a little more scary in a way, but I do approve, and it looks like it's going to be another Teferi. Okay, well that works too. Alrighty. But at the end of the day, and I am going to play this because Elish Norn shuts this off. I think we're still winning on board. We're still winning on the hand. We're still winning on the life total. We're still winning on the clock. I don't know, like, we could easily jinx this, but this looks like Elish Norn, no? That's a fairy. Okay, that's a lot less scary. What is this here? Ooh, they're playing their own Seasoned Pyromancer. Hey, I can't blame them. They're gonna bounce my Fury. Okay, well, I mean, I know what my targets are, but I mean, it does slow us down, so I can't blame them. But at the same time, I think we all know that this is my game. Alrighty. They're winning on the mana race, though. They have more mana than us now. And once again, they're winning on the Omnath battle. They have more Omnaths than us once again. That looks like a Wren to me, if I've ever seen one. Oh. That might actually be worse. Okay. Let's do this. I guess we might as well do this, because... Yeah. Because, yeah. We want to discourage them from attacking. That's kind of the name of the game at this point, I think. And there's the Wren. Let's see here. It looks like a Solitude to me. Yeah, definitely going to pitch that. This could be a good card to keep, but I'm going to pitch it. Well, I don't think I can pass up the opportunity for a juicy Fury on the Wren. And attacking just doesn't seem, especially since I'm pretty sure they got a Solitude. Otherwise, you'd think they would have gotten the Triome back. Alrighty. Cool story. Still doesn't seem like attacking with Sanctifier is the wisest move for them, but I could be wrong. Okie dokie, Forgotten Cave. They did actually exile their own Seasoned Pyromancer, and they are actually decking themselves earlier than us this time, interestingly enough. Weird how the games play out. City Charmaw is a little scary, actually, not gonna lie. I don't think they can cast it yet. Oh, they can, because I have one colorless. Okay. Fair enough. Oh, now I actually need a 4-mana damage spell, or that thing alone could kill me. You do have a lot of possible draws, though, to make that happen. Alrighty. Well, there's one. Should I attack? No. I'll just tank the 4 damage. Actually, that won't do it because I forgot I lost Delirium. Well, they have to deal with the reflection. Otherwise, I could copy either Seasoned or, something else here. Okay, that deals with it. Oh man, Obsidian Charma. Well, okay, that might be a little bit ill-advised though. I'm not gonna lie. How much do I want to risk? I think I'll risk a lot. Do we come out ahead on this risk? I think we do. Let's try this. Let's try this. Do we actually win? Did we do it? Did we do it? No. Nope. Alright, well we still dealt a lot of damage to them. Oh, we could have attacked with the Bugbear too, I forgot. Yeah, we should have totally just attacked with the Bugbear too, but at least we couldn't put Blast Zone to 2. Oh man, we might have just thrown the game there. Oh, that's an Omnath. That's a good one. Yeah, we could have attacked with the Bugbear too. Yeah, Charma. You know what? That's not the worst. We had to deal with this sooner or later anyway. But it really sucks that we actually had the win. We just didn't notice it. I'm thought I auto yielded. Okay, fair enough. Alright, well, I mean, if we're not going to use it, then we're going to lose it, right? Please no Ephemerate, please no Ephemerate. Seiju who endures. Okay, fair enough. Should I attack? I think I'll just attack with this. They probably suspect I got Lightning Bolt. Oh, or not. Or maybe they do, but they still can't take it. Why did they shock themselves? Or did they shock themselves? Hard to tell. Is that one card they do? If it's land, I think we're in pretty good shape. But if it's, Solitude, ugh, yuck. Alright, well, let's rock. I love Blood Sun. I think I have to. Maybe I shouldn't have done this, but we'll see. There's a Solitude. Alright, that's fine. They gain some life, whatever, but yeah. Maybe that Den of the Bug. No, I think we've kind of passed where this Den of the Bugbear is that helpful. Alright. Do they really want to attack though? Yeah, I didn't think so. Let's not forget about our Obosh. Should I dash? I mean, I guess so, right? It's the downside. Oh, well, the downside is endurance. Oh, that's gonna suck if they have endurance, but yeah, okay. They're gonna block, yeah. All right, that works for me. Alrighty, tomorrow, already. All right, they're decking first, although I guarantee you they got another Solitude. And then we're gonna play Seasoned Pyromancer. Alrighty. Alrighty. Or maybe they don't have Solitude. I guess I'll play another Blood Sun, because why not? Well, actually, I know why not. Maybe we don't want to deck. So I'm a little bit worried about another Solitude. But it's only Solitude plus Endurance that really screws us up with this attack. Okay, they're definitely Solitude. Okay. Probably hit the Omnath, probably block the Ragavan. We'll bolt the Ragavan, that works too. Did I want to block? Yeah. Fable of the Mirror. And I will block with the Shaman token if they give me the chance. But I got a feeling they're going to play Teferi. Okay. Probably take the Fable, or take that, I guess. Are they going to attack for real? I guess I'll take. Maybe I shouldn't have. I don't know, it's so weird. I don't know if I should deck before them. Let's Unholy Heat this thing. Yeah, we're not technically falling behind them yet. I mean, yeah. So I'm not cracking that research desk because then we deck first. Yeah, I do not want to deck first. Okay, fair enough. Turn off auto yields, end of turn. Okay. Man, I hope they don't pull ahead somehow in the time department. I mean, it is what it is, whatever. See how critical it was to be ahead on the clock, though? Easily we would have timed out if we hadn't played strategically. That's a good one. That's a good one. This does, I think, open up me to be able to research desk without necessarily falling behind. Or I would fall behind. So I'm still gonna play it cautiously. I will. Because I would go down to 10. We'll wait for them to hopefully draw one more card. I think it's an Elisnorn. Or is it? Risen Reef? Okay, Risen Reef. Well, this definitely opens up the possibility of me playing Research Desk. Okay. Yeah, I don't know about that Research Desk though, but a Research Desk. Man, if they have Endurance though, we're so screwed. Now that I think about it, we are so screwed. I hope they cited out their Endurances, because we are totally screwed if they have Endurance. I just realized. That looks like it could be Solitude. How many Solitudes do they have? 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So they used up all their Solitudes. Alright, well we just lost anyway if they have Endurance still in their deck, so we might as well attack. Ran in 6. Yeah, might as well. This is a good reason to keep Endurance in your deck, folks. And if we don't play properly, we could easily fall behind on the clock game. Yeah, they must have Endurance, because why do they keep powering through their deck? Oh my god, that sucks. We could still win on time, though, I guess. Take down on us. Boseiju, fair enough. We can Research Desk now. It's not my first choice. I hate when all my Research Desks are on the bottom of my library. That just doesn't help anybody. I'm not gonna fetch if they play Boseiju. Are they gonna cycle Forgotten Cave? If so, that means for sure they still got Endurance. I wonder if they got some trick up their sleeve. So we may actually have to deal with the Ren, but I'm gonna give it one more turn. I think I have to try to deal with the Ren. But I could still win on time. Even if they play Endurance, I could still win on time actually. So I have to look on the bright side. It's kind of unlikely, but because they could probably just wait till I deck and keep passing, passing, passing. But maybe, am I actually going to do this? Because they are technically going to deck first, so I'm not cheesing on time. And I don't think winning by decking is cheesing. And I purposefully tried to stay one card ahead at all times. Oh man, what an insane game. This is so crazy. Like, well, why? How did Magic get to this point? Look at this. Look at this. All right, match 3. I'm still reeling from that. Oh, my bird awoke. Well, yeah, I think I have to mulligan because this is just a little too. Sure, I don't think I can keep mulliganing. Oh, that's not as useful. And my hope is I can cycle into something with the relic. See, this is what I hate. It's 24 lands, but somehow I keep not drawing lands. Oh, looks like it's Merfolk. Come on. Alrighty. Man, ironically, if they force a negation my relic, that would be the worst thing ever. Maybe I should have gone to 5. And this, I do think this hand is better than the other one. I have a better chance of hitting a land on turn 2. There was no guarantee that Ragavan would have survived, although if it's Merfolk. But they can tap it down and stuff, and chump block it. You know, there's things, not chump, but just block it. Yeah, you might wanna play Tide Shaper. Oh yeah. Come on, please. Down in the Bugbear. That would be nice. Oh no. I should have just gone down to 5. There's just some matchups where that's just such a no-no. So if they have Svaloon and they have another Merfolk to Aetherfile, then that's just it. Unless we draw a land and we can Flame Slash. Okay, well, we live to fight another day. Well, barely live to fight another day. Okay. Okay, that's a lot of power. Hopefully Fury can do something about that. I need to draw a land, a mountain though, because I guess if I draw another brown source, I could field her. No, I can't even field a ruin because they only have basics. So it's got to be actual mountain. Then the Bugbear doesn't do it either. Because the problem is I need to Fury that master, but I also, that sucks. Oh man, that sucks. I think I have to go with Mishra actually, just because it increases the chance I can draw an untapped mountain. Come on, mountain at the top. Yeah, it's like I'm getting trolled here. It's like I'm getting trolled, people. Let's see what I hit here. Alright, well, ask and you shall receive, I guess, right? So, anyway, let's do it here. I guess Unholy Heat. Let's see how many other lords they have. Okay, well, there's one other lord. Alrighty, well, I guess we'll do this then. I can't die to just a top deck Svaloon, so this has got to be it, I think. Hopefully they don't have one more lord. That would suck. Oh man. Look. I'm not. I don't think we actually. I don't think this means we won, not by a long shot, but it means we're still in the game. And all thanks to one card, Fury. They don't have Spell Pierce, because I do think I want to play the Fable. Maybe I should have held up Lightning Bolt, but I do need to be able to deal with Svaloon. Svaloon is the #1 way. They just catapult themselves right back into the game. Of course, they're going to tap it down. Okay, well, it's not tap down just yet. I may have to Flame Slash that. Should I tank a hit? Probably. Mana is a pretty big game. Okay. So I like Ragavan, but I think I'm going to pitch it. I need to hit more removal, period. Let's see. And I'll probably play the Research Desk just because it does kind of symbolize more removal. Alright, let's see. Alrighty. Not bad, I think. Let's see here. This is the issue with sort of playing your whole hand out with Merfolk. It's just that cards like Fury can sometimes cause a bit of a stir, if you know what I mean. I guess I'll go on the offensive. Okay. Maybe I shouldn't have gone on offensive with Seasoned Pyromancer. So the plan is I guess I'll play around Spellpierce, and then I'll Blast Zone Aether Vial on their upkeep. So I wanna see if they put a Merfolk out. If they put a Merfolk out, I might just charge this to 2. Alright, probably charging it to 2 there. Lord of A. Lord of Atlantis. Alrighty. Okay. Alright, that's cool. That does seem like a Blast Zone on 2 type of groove, though. Alrighty. Okay. Oof. So I think the main thing we have to worry about in game 2 is the old Chally. And I don't think we need Relic. I think Relic is pretty much just not needed. Shattering Spree for Chalice and Aetherfall is pretty good to me. I would kind of wish we had 4, but at the same time 4 could be overkill. So this is one reason why I have Shattering Spree as a 2 of. This is just such a sweet card. It's good as a 1 of. It's good as it's good as a 1 of, 2 of, 3 of, 4 of. It doesn't necessarily demand to be played as a 4 of. Do I hedge a little bit with Pyrite Spellbomb? I don't think, based on how last game played, I don't think Magus does anything. I guess I'll play a couple Pyrite Spellbombs. See, Ragavan. You know what? I'm gonna play. I'm gonna go down to 2 Ragavans. Yeah. Because Pyrite Spellbomb, like, Master of Waves is one of the few cards that genuinely scares me in this matchup. But on top of that, also just more removal is good. And also on top of that, being able to cycle and hit my land drops is good. Plus on top of that, Ragavan gets Brickwalled pretty easily. Plus on top of that, Ragavan is legendary. So I don't know. Now the question is, if they play turn 1 Vial, do we just fire off the Shining Spree? And I think the answer is no. Because, okay, well, they didn't put us to the test, which is nice. I'm going to hold up Spikefield. It hits a lot of stuff. Hits Silvergull, hits Tide Shaper in response to the island making ability. Spikefield Hazard does more work than you might think in this matchup. And I know exactly what's on your mind, don't lie. You're thinking it doesn't hit anything. But you're wrong. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, well, that's not it. But the question is, do we use Flame Slash? Hmm. Hmm. I think the answer is no. I just really don't want to get hard murked by a Svaloon. Now I get hard murked here by a Force of Negation, but it's a risk I'm willing to take. I have I have a bigger read that they have Svaloon, because there has to be a reason they kept a hand without Ace of Vial. All right. Well, since we drew another card, all right. Well, this exposes us to Spell Pierce, but I think I'll risk it. Do we want to risk it? Really? Really? Do you really want to risk it? Do you really want to risk it? Okay. Man, I live life on the edge, don't I? I could have just easily lost us the game right there. Okay. I'm not going to play out the Field of Ruin. There's just no reason to give them an excellent, like, Spreading Seas or Tide Shaper target. All right, Merfolk Tricky. Merfolk Tricky Dicky. So, actually, what we have to worry about now is actually Subtlety. That being said, let's play out Obosh. Okay, that's interesting. They just let it come into play. Interesting. Interesting. All right, well, now we're trying to play Fury. I think, what do you call it? Hall of the Storm Giants is a must in Merfolk, in my personal opinion. Now, they probably have Volodel and Hedgecacher, which is fine. We'll just use Fury. Well, they don't, so which makes it kind of a little more straightforward proposition for us. But yeah, I would definitely advocate playing Hall of, and there's the Spreading Seas we were playing around. Hall of the Storm Giants in Merfolk, because like that suddenly gives us something to respect here. But just having a bunch of lands with nothing else, to respect, so to speak, it's, it is what it is. But just saying, this is a subtlety. We do have the Flame Slash to follow up. Okay. I'm sensing a Merfolk Trickster. Nope. They just tank all of it. Okay. I'll take that certainly. That's a cool thing. Obosh plus Fury equals 12 damage. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Okay, well, they clearly didn't have that last turn. Otherwise, presumably they would have saved their team. Alrighty. Yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunate to have to take a win like this against the Merfolk deck, which is a deck to our heart, which we've always loved. But yeah, you do have to. Is there really that much of a downside to playing Hall of the Storm Giants? Let me know in Merfolk, that is, because it just seems to me like now I gotta be fair. I don't think that would have won the game here, especially since I got this other Field of Ruin. But at least it gives me something to respect, and it's just so close to free. It's just, yeah, I don't know. Well, all right, match 4. Match 4. Here we go. And this looks like a reasonable enough proposition to me. Although we're kind of relying on Spikefield Hazard to do a lot of the heavy lifting as far as the actual creature removal goes. Okay. Well, this is where we get to hopefully see Blood Sun making a difference in the sideboard. I don't necessarily think it swings the matchup to being a good matchup, but I actually have been peeling off games more often against creativity than I have in the past, and I think playing sideboard cards that respect the matchup is certainly a big part of that. let's see here. Okay. Ren the Hen. Need Fury or need Relic. Man, Ren just is such a good card. Holy moly. Okay. Alrighty, well. Maybe I shouldn't have picked this, but like at the end of the day, in game one, I find that the most success I have in game one is when I literally just play like they don't have it. Like that's what you just have to do. And especially like, well, with Fairy Time Raveler, it literally makes it so you can't do anything even if they do have something. This feels so unfair, man. You know, Ren and 6 just giving them unlimited fodder to pitch, and we're gonna just the Fables. Fables are just too vulnerable. And then Fairy making it so I literally can't interact. Should I just scoop if they... I guess I could put a land in the graveyard. I could sacrifice Seasoned Pyromancer to the Archon. Okay. Well, I guess we're not just conceding just yet. Okay. My little birdie baby is... Okay, this is what we're gonna do here. Okay, well. We can discard a card. We discard a land card. And then I think we do this. We're basically just searching for a Unholy Heat at this point. Ain't gonna do it. I guess we'll just concede because I don't think I can take it. We could have maybe made something happen if we would have drawn a Unholy Heat there, but and that's one thing I've been liking about Unholy Heat. So here's the new sideboard strategy. Okay, I would recommend taking out the Flame Slashes because these are the most clunky. And believe it or not, we take out the Relics. They're good against Ren, but I mean everything else is just so necessary. The Fables, we need them. We need them. Excuse the bird, please. We need these for card advantage and just to actually deal damage. I guess the Fables. I guess the Fables we could play Relic instead, but no, like believe it or not, just keeping the Archons under control isn't enough. We also have to actually out mid-range them. Plus, the other thing about Relic is that as good as it is, it does mess with the Unholy Heat, which is super important to have Delirium. So yeah, and this isn't perfect, and this is a work in progress. This is definitely subject to change. But where I'm at right now, this is the sideboard strategy. Alrighty. Lightning Bolt. I would probably wait until my turn. What if we draw another one? But we didn't, of course. Alrighty. One frustrating thing about the creativity matchup is that it feels like they always have all the control elements they need and all the combo elements they need. Like, watch, they probably have a spell switch here. Sometimes I've even seen Remand. Remand is actually even kind of more annoying a lot of times. Well, they got one of the two. Question is which one? Or maybe not. Alright. Do have another lightning bolt? Because one good thing about Ragavan too, as you can see, is it's a little bit of a lightning rod, and maybe the Goblin Shaman gets there, maybe a Magus gets there. Ultimately, we have to make them use their removal on something. Okay. Yeah. As great as Fury is, I know this seems like heresy, but I'm gonna pitch them. Yeah. We're gonna raggy tacky. We gotta deal damage. We gotta make stuff happen. We can actually take care of the mirror, the Fable, but the problem is then we tap out. So, alrighty. Hopefully this isn't the Reanimator build. Usually, in my experience, they either play Teferi or they play the Reanimator build. They usually don't play both. Hopefully they just go for it. Nope. Okay. Alright, well, you could say this is overkill, but we're going to go for it. They drew another bolt, that's fine. I'm a little surprised that they didn't bolt the Ragavan. Oh, okay. Well, the hope is that leaves them ripe for the picking for a Magus of the Moon. That's one reason why it's in there. Now, the only thing that actually I semi-failed to consider, I wouldn't say failed to consider, but because I actually did kind of have it in the back of my mind. But the concern is if they target two things now. Well, that's an easy. We have to draw another Unholy Heat here. And we didn't draw any of our moon effects or sun effects, so that's a little bit of a disappointment. But if we draw another Unholy Heat, we're in the game, and I've been doing that more and more. Well, that's a little late, but yeah, we've been drawing our Unholy Heats more often, so I'm not too particularly worried. Heart of the cards, man. There we go. See, we just have so much. Does this actually do it? Okay, yeah. The problem is I undelirium myself with the yeah. All right, but there's nothing I could have done. But like, see, if I would have just had one more card in the graveyard, then I have been beating creativity more, but unfortunately I can't show it this game because you know, but this could have, you know, with the Magus, you know, they blew all their removal. And, you know, this killing this thing. I know that it looks like I did an oopsie, but I didn't. There's nothing I could have done. Alright, match 5. Alright, well, hopefully it's not rhinos. Nowadays, even creativity, I actually feel surprisingly confident that if we face creativity again, we're going to be able to pull off the upset and show off how the new tech actually does make creativity still an unfavorable matchup, but a very winnable one this time for a change. Yeah, let's play this out because I don't want that to get discarded if they are playing scam or something and they what do you call it? It doesn't look like scam to me. So the issue here is this looks to me like rhinos, which is kind of unfortunate because that's basically kind of GG's. Yeah. I mean, what else plays basic forest in turn 1 besides rhinos these days? I don't know. Let's get our spirits up because rhinos is like the only matchup that is kind of truly unwinnable. Okay, I'm smelling elves. Elves is kind of the opposite of unwinnable. Okay, well I'm smelling Murktide. I mean, not Murktide. What do you call it? What do you call this deck again? Yawgmoth. Yawgmoth is very even. I think I'm gonna do this. I know it seems weird, but I gotta use my lightning bolts on something. And they 2-for-1 me here, but my hope is I've got so many 2-for-1s in my deck that it'll all more than balance out in the long run. I played out Blast Zone because I think as between the two, Blast Zone's a little more relevant later in the game, and I'm probably going to pitch the Field of Ruin, both to just go through further in the deck and enable Delirium. So let's see. Yeah, hopefully it's just a wall. Okay. I was most worried about a Grist, but alright. Okay. Should I still even hold on to the Unholy Heat? I think I should. Just take care of the Field of Ruin, I guess. I will take the trade. There's a lot of value to be had for them to be able to use the Undying trigger. And there's a lot of value to me to have the token, including having a Fury here. I don't think I'm going to play the Fury though, because if they just slam a Yawgmoth, it's a little too brutal, I think. That being said, I think I will Unholy Heat that, although I may want to wait to do that in response to something. Probably in response to them playing Yawgmoth. I think I'll take the 3 damage for more information. Okay. Well, at this point, what they can do next turn is a little limited in scope, so I probably will just Unholy Heat this in response to them attacking. Wall of Roots. Okay. Yeah, let's heat it. Let's heat it up. And my only concern, though, is I really don't want to... Alright, well, I guess I got a backup, even if so. Should I play out the Obosh? Or should I just put Blast Zone to 2? Well, I'm going to live life on the risky side, and I'm going to play Obosh. I still have the Flame Slash as a backup, in case in case I need to deal with a Yawgmoth next turn. I don't draw an untapped land. It's just that Obosh just makes all my other burn spells just so ridiculous. Worst case scenario, they play Yawgmoth, they play Young Wolf off a Wall of Roots, they kill my Reflection, draw a bunch of cards. Okay. Okay, so here is the plan. Okay, folks, I know it's so tempting to just Flame Slash. Actually, yeah, it's tempting and we will. It's tempting and we will. And the reason why is that we know they're going to play Chord of Calling here, and I want to see what they chord, and we could actually have a very juicy Fury, depending on what they chord for. We could even win. Let's see, 12. Yeah, we actually have. Well, no, but if they have Yawgmoth, then 4. 5. I don't think they technically have enough lands for Yawgmoth. Okay. Yeah, and the Fury trick won't work to actually win here because reasons. Okay, what is this? Boseiju. Nice. I'm actually really close to just to holding up Blast Zone because I'm really worried they play another Young Wolf, but that doesn't actually convert into a win, but it could though. They draw so many cards. Yeah, the problem is though, I don't think the Blast Zone even prevents them from doing crazy things with another Young Wolf if they have Young Wolf. But let's think this through. They would need to have Yawgmoth in their hand. They need to have a Young Wolf in their hand, and they need to draw an untapped green sphere. This is super unlikely. But then let's also think this through. All we can do is just make one Young Wolf come back with a counter on it. Then another one comes into play. They sack that one to put the counter on the 2. That one goes to 1. They can sack that one to put it on the other one, which became a 2. So like we don't even stop the combo, and I think that's the biggest mark against that strategy. So we're gonna play Fable because I mean obviously the problem is if we play Seasoned Pyromancer, then we have to discard our Fury, which we're saving for the Yawgmoth. So that's a no-go. So pretty much, yeah, it was either Fable or hold up Blast Zone. And Blast Zone just A, it didn't stop the combo, and B, there's a decent chance they don't have exactly the 3 cards in their hand. They didn't get exactly the draw they needed to make a double Yawgmoth, draw a bunch of cards extravaganza. That wouldn't convert into an immediate win, but it would convert into a ton of value to possibly win the next turn, even if we do deal with Yawgmoth, which was obviously my concern. I do expect a Yawgmoth, because they had to have been playing to something. Well, okay, I guess they had a pretty mediocre hand because, yeah, no, I do think they're going to grist and I would definitely snipe my Obosh if I were them. Or not. I mean, I guess I respect that. Unless they have some new removal spell I'm not aware of. I think the Fury one-shots everything here. And yeah, don't mind if I do. I'll discard the land. So because of Obosh, unless I'm missing something. Yeah, they don't, because I could put 2 to the Grist, that'll kill it because it'll convert to 4 off of the Obosh. 1 to Yawgmoth, that'll convert to 2 and kill it. And then just 1 to the Insect token, and then that wipes the board. So always nice. Okay, how to approach the sideboarding in this matchup. This is definitely not a Blood Sun matchup like Omnath. Trying to think here. I think it's between Pyrite Spellbomb or Magus. The problem with Magus is it's too easy for them to snipe off with Yawgmoth, but it could also keep them off of the mana they need for Yawgmoth. So it's a little bit giveth and a little bit taketh away. Plus it can be pitched with Fury, unlike Pyrite Spellbomb. But Pyrite Spellbomb just kills stuff, and it also just draws into other stuff. That being said, they don't play any pro-red things. Ragavan gets brickwalled a lot, so I think we're going to play to the upside of Magus possibly shutting them off. I think Magus is the most value to be had here. So yeah, what can I say? What can I say? Hey. What can I say? Hey. Yeah, I'll keep. We may have to convert the Field of Ruin into a basic. I think I'm gonna. This is one of those matchups where Spikefield's Exile Clause really does. Hey, they're Magic Mike, I'm Magic Matt, so one to the other. Magic Matt says hi to Magic Mike. Actually, I think there's a bunch of radio hosts named Magic Mike. I think there's one around where I live. I don't know if he's still on the air or not, but it could have subconsciously influenced me in being a Magic Matt. Yeah, I started somehow I hear Magic Mike a lot more than Magic Matt. But all right. Hopefully I was hoping it was a Strangleroot. Well, we get to one-shot it with a Flame Slash if we so choose. All right, well, and we still get to get good value by Kazushi Sakuraba right there. Alrighty. Don't try this at home, kids, but we're Flame Slashing. And the only reason I'm doing this is because we do have the hope of a Deliriumed up Unholy Heat. Otherwise, I never would have endorsed that. Otherwise, would have disowned that. But the Deliriumed up Unholy Heat is the promise of bigger things against, whatchamacallit, against Yawgmoth. Yeah, I'll probably... So we could immediately Delirium ourselves next turn, assuming this thing lives, which it might not. But assuming this thing lives, we can immediately Delirium ourselves up by putting Artifact and land in the graveyard. But I kind of feel like Lightning Bolt's the weakest link. Okay, well there goes the Unholy Heat. Boo. Oh, that's weird. I would have definitely taken the Unholy Heat if I were them. Um, all right, well, since I don't see anything else, I guess I'll just do this here. Um, we could Field a Ruin the Nurturing Peatland while they're tapped out, but considering that they are so low on land, I don't think they're going to be cracking that for value anytime soon. So I guess take the opportunity to Obosh it up. Alrighty. And they're just mana screwed, so I think that kind of is what it is. Alright, stage it. Yeah, yep, Gristy. Gristy Grist. If we draw a land, then we can, okay, cool. Yeah. Then we can, you know, but we can kind of do this anyway, no matter what, if you think about it, because if we attack the Grist, then they probably would have chump blocked. In which case we could have just finished this off with a one-shot with the Fury. But this is just a little bit cooler. Killing planeswalkers by attacking is always a very nice treat for me, at least. One nice thing about this matchup is the fact that there's so little actual removal that the Kiki can just kind of go nuts. I mean, they can play Yawgmoth, but then I just copy the Fury, don't I? I think that's a yes. And if we draw another land, then it's even more fun times. All right, man, this is I think this is just an outright win, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it is. All right, because like we just copy the Fury, we deal like 24 damage. All right, well, hey, so close to another 5-0. Of course, creativity was going to be the deck to block us, but we can live with that. Yeah, not bad. So this, I'll probably upload this one. Hope you all enjoyed. Yeah, Yawgmoth is I think Yawgmoth we're slightly favored, but it's very evenish. I mean, Yawgmoth is one of these matchups. Okay, if you want just my closing thoughts, it's one of these matchups where, let me put it this way. When I say evenish, I don't mean that it's random who wins. I do feel like I tend to win more often than I lose against Yawgmoth. When I say evenish, I just mean they have the tool. They have about as many tools to win against us as we do the tools to win against them, if that makes sense. And I'm not trying to like arrogantly say that means I outplayed them, but I don't know how else to say it other than that I have to imagine that. Let's put it this way. I guess I'll just say it. I think Yawgmoth, there are this category of decks where I know that I tend to win more often than not against them in an average league. And I'm not trying to criticize any of my opponents, but I have to imagine that, for example, if one of the pros like Andrea Mengucci or you know PBR or something, I don't even know if he plays on Magic Online. I don't think I've ever run into him if he did. Or Reed Duke, heaven forbid I run against Reed Duke with Yawgmoth. You know, I just have this feeling that the win rate's it's not going to be as good if I run into those guys. And I'm not saying that my opponents are bad players. What I'm just trying to say is I'm trying to say that I'm just trying to say I think the matchup is closer than it looks. And I think a big part of that, and I'm not saying they're not good Magic players. Actually, they might have a lot more overall skill and experience in Magic in general and Modern in particular possibly than I do. But one big thing we can never underestimate with a lot of the games we play on Magic Leagues is that a lot of our opponents are going to have usually a ton less experience playing against Obosh Red than we do against things like Yawgmoth. Now that is changing to some extent because it seems like both Obosh Red specifically and Obosh sort of spin-off variants are becoming a lot more popular than I could have in my wildest dreams imagined. They're not quite as popular as back in the heyday of like Obosh prowess, when for a brief period of time an argument could have been made it was like tier one. We're not. I don't think it's fair to call us tier one at this point, like it was at some points in the past. But that being said, I do think that the the average opponent is going to have less experience, even though we are a known quantity at this point, and we're not completely under the radar like we were in the past. I still think that the average opponent is going to have a lot less experience against our archetype than we are against theirs, and it's an evenish matchup. Yawgmoth is it's not one of these matchups where I'm like, yes, you know. Um, to be fair, one of the only matchups where I feel like it's very, very unlikely that I lose it is unfortunately Rakdos Scam. And I say that with love for any Rakdos Scam player because objectively it's very similar to our deck. It's very similar to Obosh. But it's actually the similarities that actually I think make this matchup that make it one of the uniquely very I, I mean I could totally be wrong, so I also just want to say that, but uniquely kind of one-sided matchups is that is that ultimately at the end of the day we just don't care that much about a lot of their disruptive plan, and we just generally kind of have more of the card advantage and other mid-range sort of qualities that typically lead to winning the mirror match, and we just have them in like more quality, more quantity, and we have them like we just have more of them, if that makes sense. But anyway, but other than that, yeah, a lot of these matchups, um, that's one of the things I like about mid-range is a lot of these matchups, you know, they could go either way, and there is certainly an element to how you play them. I think I've chatted enough. All right, let's get to the post league. Alrighty. Um, yeah, post league wrap up. So, yeah, so a little disappointing that we couldn't snag the first trophy of the season here for this one. Um, you know, but I do think we actually put ourselves in a very good position to be able to pull that off. And I think that, you know, we clearly have game against just about everything except for Rhinos. Rhinos is the only matchup, and there's just not a lot you can do that with Obosh. And frankly, even with my non-Obosh versions, I just kind of more or less gave up on it because like here's the thing about Rhinos, okay? Even if you play Engineer Explosives and Chalice, that's the best way to actually make the matchup winnable. But you're still actually, I actually think you're still more unfavored against Rhinos, even if you load up with Chalices and Engineer Explosives and whatnot. I still think you're more unfavored against Rhinos, even with all that tech, than you are against creativity. Yeah, than you are against creativity. What was I trying to say? You're more unfavored. Yeah, than you are against creativity with, um, you know, with all your tech against creativity. Like, it's, you know, or maybe you're even less favored. You're still less favored than I guess maybe even creativity game one without your tech. Just you know, without any tech, just going in blind. Like that's how bad it is. That being said, with the new and when I say tech, I mean sideboard tech, because Unholy Heat actually does give us more of a chance against creativity than we've had in a long, long time. Being able to actually clean up some Archons after the fact. Unfortunately, it didn't come to pass the match that we played. But as you can see, if we do actually have Delirium, which is not super difficult, but also not a given either, um, then you know if we clear an Archon, like it's kind of big game to be able to actually clear up one straggling Archon. But you know it is what it is. At the end of the day, even if we have like a super unfavorable matchup like Rhinos, as far as I know, every deck on the format has at least one deck that they just really don't want to see because it's almost impossible. Thankfully, I don't think creativity is one of those decks anymore, and I hope that we showed it. Even though we lost, I hope that we showed we had game against creativity. And actually, I have another league that I could, I guess, post if I wanted to show me actually beating creativity twice. Actually, okay, I'm not gonna lie. Like you might be seeing my results here. I'm trying to track my results. So the reason why it says 6-4 here is because my last league I actually went 2-3. But you're not gonna believe this. Those two wins were actually both creativity. I know, I got lucky. The other two matchups, the other three were there was Rhinos, there was Rhinos, there was and I forget what Ratch 4 was. There was this weird vampire deck that played some kind of new weird dinosaur vampire thing that's like 6 mana, 12/12 trample, and then Sorin Imperius can put it in its hand, you know, for 3 mana into play, and then it also gives it lifelink if it lives and can tick up. It's hard to explain, but just yeah, it's the trample, like basically being able to play a 12/12 trample on turn 3 was a little, and they did it 2 games in a row, which, you know, obviously you need to have both cards, but it's neither here nor there. So like, but that's weird. The last league was pretty disappointing, so I decided to play another one, which was this one. Um, yeah, but believe it or not, I can't remember what one was Rhinos. one was this weird vampire deck, and one was another. I can't remember what it was. I want to say something like I want to say some kind of big mana deck, something like either Tron, or it might have actually been more likely to be like the mono black coffers deck or something. Like that's another kind of deck where, look, I don't think that I'm super unfavored against that deck, but I'm not surprised to lose it because they do go over the top of us. I think it was mono black coffers. Anyway, but I do remember, from what I remember, yeah, the other three losses were matchups where it made sense that we lost, although the only one that I felt was truly terrible was Rhinos. But the highlight of the last league, and I almost thought about sharing it just for this reason alone, was that two out of those five matchups. Ironically, you would think in a five-match league where I go 2-3, you'd think the three matchups in this current metagame that I would have lost, that would have made it a 2-3, would have been creativity. You would think that. You would think the other two matchups would have been like, oh, I don't know, scam or something else, scam, Murktide, something else. But like, but in actuality, that easily could have been a 0-5 league, actually, the last one. I could think about it. I faced creativity twice. I faced Rhinos. I faced a big mana deck, and I faced some kind of funky vampire deck that puts a 12/12 trample vampire that also they can give lifelink the next turn. You know, the five matches in a row. That's like pretty much the worst possible matchups for any possible league I could get. But I was kind of impressed that I was actually able to beat creativity twice. Needless to say, I got lucky, and I probably got a little unlucky in some of the other matchups. But like, yeah, I mean, what I'm just trying to say is, I'm trying to say, I think we're on the precipice of possibly, possibly, possibly coming close to cracking tier one again. And here's to hoping that we can get a good amount of trophies this season, because I really feel strongly about this current build, and I have some alternative builds here which I could mix it up. This is actually going to be my resident more budget-friendly build. I think this is the one. No, it's actually this one. This is going to be my resident more budget-friendly build here. I decided that I liked the Geomancer's Gambit Blood Moon sort of idea, but I thought to myself, let's just do it in a more budget, Raggarless, Cleansing Wildfire build. At the end of the day, Field of Ruin plus Cleansing Wildfire, while it doesn't always do this, sometimes this alone is enough strip mine effects where it can really put the opponent off of a lot of lands if they run out of lands to search. Even just 8 of these, when we have this much card advantage, I think one of the mistakes in previous strip mine type builds is we certainly should not be cutting Blast Zone for more strip mines. I think that 4 Field of Ruins is good enough, and Field of Ruins is generally better than Demolition Field, the new one they printed, because it forces a shuffle. And while this doesn't come up a lot, there's almost no circumstances where we also don't want to grab a land. We don't have basically any cards that put anything on top of our library, so there's very little reason that we would want to have the option of shuffling or not. Shuffling is almost always going to be the exact same thing as not shuffling for us. And there are some circumstances where the opponent will put things on top of their library, like for example, that Witch's Cottage card where they put like an Archon on top of their, they play something to Calibrated Blast it, so we can Field of Ruin. It forces a shuffle. They force the thing off the top of their library. There's all kinds of other cards where they put things on top. They don't really come up that often. There's also things like what's it called? Castle Vantress, the blue, Throne of Eldraine card land, where you can pay 5 and scry 2. And if you force the shuffle of Field of Ruin, that's scry 2 that they did, possibly in response to the field itself, does absolutely nothing. So there's a lot of reasons why Field of Ruin I think just is kind of better. But anyway, yeah, this is kind of the build for the current build I'm on, where I think if you want to play a budget version, you have to forego Obosh. But if there's ever a card that I always keep coming back to that might make it uniquely worth losing Obosh, it's Cleansing Wildfire. And yeah, and then you can also sometimes just juke them out, because if they fetch out all their basics with Blood Moon, sometimes they only have like 3 basics. You can just mop up the rest with Cleansing Wildfire, even under a Blood Moon, and yeah. And you do actually need some heavy duty anti-burn cards in this. You fundamentally cannot juke burn in this matchup, so 4 Dragon's Claw is kind of a necessity for that reason in this build. Yeah, and a Braid for some extra removal should you need it. So you take out Cleansing Wildfire, you get the idea. Yeah, and this is the deck we just played. I also like this. I also like the Saga version here, and I do think that I've come around to just doing the obvious and playing Ragavan in the main. I know I played Pirate Spellbomb and Ragavan on the side for a while, but Ragavan just is just kind of nuts in some matchups. And Pirate Spellbomb is it's good, but it's not always necessary. But anyway, yeah, not much to say here other than that. It's basically the same exact deck, just you take out Field and Ruins for Urza Sagas. Yeah, the deck pretty much can fully support Urza Saga, funny enough. You may not always want to because it makes your moon effects less good. And also playing Blood Sun is probably a very bad idea if you're playing Urza Saga. But yeah, and Pirate Spell was out of the sideboard suddenly become a lot more potent when you have Urza Sagas to fetch them. So I don't know what else to say other than that. It's more or less the same deck as the other one, just swapping Field of Ruin for Urza Saga, and and of course I feel like without Field of Ruins you can play some of these Sokens and Shinkas because why not? And then there's a companionless version, which, in the main deck, I honestly can't think of any better cards to play than these anyway, so you pretty much lose Obosh just for Shadow Skull Smashing, but if there's ever a card where it might make that worthwhile, Shadow Skull Smashing is really solid. But it's mainly just so like you have access to Stonebrain on the sideboard. It's very possible this is just not worth it to lose Obosh to get Shadow Skull and get Stonebrain, but I've got this in the queue, so to speak. This and the two Saga versions we did trophy with, so that's cool too. Both with and without Obosh. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed. Let me do a quick shout out to the patrons. Thank you, Kevin Roebuck. Thank you, Roland Shonen Man. Thank you, S. Robertson. Thank you, Sophus Garup. And by the way, Sophus Garup, I think somewhat recently, took down or did I don't think they got first place. Maybe they did. Correct me if I'm wrong, Sophus, if you're watching. But I think they made top 8. They did really good in a recent event, and I think I saw them recently too when I was looking at results for Obosh Red to see how it's doing. I saw their result in a somewhat big tournament actually come up. So I thought, I'll especially like to congratulate Sophus Garup for taking Obosh to the big leagues and doing pretty well at that. So thanks, Sophus Garup. Your support for the channel is super appreciated, and your support in taking Obosh to tournaments is certainly appreciated too. I don't always have the time to do that. It seems like these were in-person events. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like these were in-person events too, and I certainly have a lot less time to do in-person events, that's for sure. Erwin Lopez, thank you very much as well. Stanley Franks, Kyle Walters, Kyle of the Deep Hours, I believe, as he's also known. Cool guy. They're all cool. Mark, Zekel Smith, Michael McPherson, Lucas Frank, Andrew Watts, Michael Patton. Thank you, everybody. Thank you all of you. Much appreciated, and I hope you continue to enjoy the content I make. Take care. Bye, everyone. Like and subscribe. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I probably should have said this in the beginning, but please hit that like button. Please subscribe. It means a lot to me. If you made it this far, okay? If you made it this far, I have to imagine, like if you watched all of the video till now, I have to imagine that you probably would like more videos from me. So why not just hit that subscribe button? Hit the bell so you get all notifications from me. I'm trying to post at least once a week. I'm not perfect, but try to post at least once a week. And you literally lose nothing by subscribing and certainly hitting that like button. So thanks everybody. Take care. And yep.